of the North Country Peace Group. We want to welcome you all here today to commemorate the 3rd anniversary of the war. Not only is the North Country Peace Group here, but we have many, many other groups here as well. So let me just recognize those people who are doing fantastic jobs all over Long Island, all over our country.
Yes.
South Country Peace Network.
Yeah.
Veterans for Peace.
Yeah.
Social Justice Alliance at Stony Brook University. South Country Women in Black. Peacemiths. Our interfaith community and members of the clergy. Code Pink. Musicians for Peace. There are vigils that go on throughout our county. Weekly, monthly, we want to make you aware that people are committed for this called Sayville, Bellport, Sag Harbor, Bridgehampton, and Setauket. People who are out there on the streets. Tomorrow, a very important day, March 19th, the North Fork People of Conscience will be hosting in Riverhead Voices Against the War at the Vale Levitt Music Hall. Starts at 1 o'clock, goes till 5 o'clock. Let's fill the theater. Let's fill the streets. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has, and here we stand on this corner to try to change the world." This weekend, we mark the 3rd anniversary since the Iraq War began, and peace groups all across the country, all across the world, are holding anti-war marches, vigils, rallies, interfaith services, candlelight vigils, and non-violent civil disobedience. Veteran groups, military families are uniting with their call for peace. There are hundreds of events planned throughout our country today, this weekend, in all 50 states. Let's hear it for all those groups. And today, in Suffolk County, we are sending a clear message that after 3 years of a failed policy, we are sending this message that the Iraq War must end. It's time to bring home the troops, and it's time to promote peace. How many more people need to die? How many more innocent Iraqi children must die? How many more of our sons and daughters must die in a war based on lies? When General Tommy Franks said we don't count Iraqi casualties, the message is that Iraqis don't count. But we are here today because we believe they do count, and so do other Americans. How many more innocent civilians in Iraq must die? 17,000 wounded soldiers have also paid a heavy price. We are here today because we cries of so many. We watch and listen to our government conducting the business of our country under the premise that the use of torture, extraordinary rendition, shredding of international laws, removal of civil liberties, warrantless eavesdropping, and the Iraq War are all essential. They are all essential elements required to ensure our safety, but we know differently. Benjamin Franklin warned that a people who are willing to give up their liberty for security deserve neither, and surely we will get neither. This illegal, immoral, inhumane, and catastrophic war has most definitely, as many correctly predicted, has increased terrorist activities all over the world. This war has opened a terrible gash that will not be easily treated, but treated we must for the future of all of us. We are all patriots today, standing here on this corner. We are all activists and patriots for peace today who are demanding truth. We are patriots demanding an end to the war. We are patriots today demanding the return of our troops. And we are here today because we are patriots, urging for open government for and by the people. We are here today to promote peace, and we say, everyone, no to this war and bring the troops home. Thank you.
I saw people walking in the street. They were walking toward peace and liberty. I saw people praying in the street. I saw people praying in the street. I saw people praying in the street. They were praying for peace and liberty.
This reminds me of a New York Civil Liberties meeting held in front of a detention center 2 or 3 years ago, where they were holding some of the quote-unquote terrorists. And when it came time for me to speak, it was necessary to climb up in a tiny, shaky ladder. And my opening statement was, standing on this podium today is almost as dangerous as living in this country today. Things have not changed that much, except for the fact that all of you are here. And it is truly, truly heartening. I remember so vividly when this group came together first, having abandoned the rock up on Nichols Road, or a smaller rock here on Bennett's Road. But when they first came together, relatively few people with a message that nobody wanted to hear. And now today, after 3 years of not missing a single day, many of the folks assembled here have succeeded in doing a very important thing. When they started, they got this. But over the years, they've succeeded in causing people to raise that second finger. And that's a tribute to you all. On a dismal, slightly less hopeful sign, let me point this out to you. Before I do that, let me say, tune into WUSB 90.1 FM all day long if you can, but certainly on those days when our public affairs group is bringing you information and speeches and talks that you would never hear on the commercial media. Call it what it is, the commercial media subservient to the dollar, in sync with the power that this government is exercising all over the world and wishes to exercise throughout the entire world. I personally have an opportunity to talk to you on Thursdays between 12 and 2, and Mort McCluskey, who's been faithfully on this corner for the last 3 years, talks to you all day Monday.
Yeah.
Just kidding, Mort. It's only a half a day. But back to what I wanted to remind you of. Even if our most severe and most important demand were met today, and the Iraq war was to end, it's not over. The reason it's not over is because we now have two departments of defense. We have a Department of War. I would call that more accurate, an accurate description of that Department of Defense. But we then have Homeland Security. And what is the task of Homeland Security? It's to project our safety into other nations, and then to do to them what we imagine they will do to us first. And we must stand against that with our whole being. We must never allow a government which today has earned the disrespect of nations throughout the world, as well as the disrespect, in a loving way, of so many of the citizens here in this country. We must never let a government designate who our enemy is. The opportunity to prevent that from happening is presented to you on a daily basis. Stand with the workers trying to get a decent contract in the New York City transit system. Stand with the nurses who find that they're overworked to the nth degree. Stand with the Verizon workers who are fighting a corporation and a company that's wringing every last drop of blood out of them. Stand with those workers who've already lost their pensions, whether it be United Airlines or Eastern Airlines, or now General Motors Corporation. Tell them no. Tell them basta. Tell them enough. I use the word basta because it's a word that has been closely connected with an issue to which I've been connected with, and so many others of you here have been connected with. That's the closing of the School of the Americans. That terrorist training center, located at Fort Benning, Georgia, paid for with your tax dollars. When there's not a cent to provide education, when there's not a cent to provide housing, when there's not a cent to provide health care and all the other things that we so desperately need, there's tax money to the tune of $1 billion a day to wage war in Iraq, and there's tax money to keep that terrorist training center in Fort Benning, Georgia open, and it must close. And Foxton is the word coming from Central and South America, whether it be Hugo Chavez, or whether it be Bolivians, or Brazilians, or Chileans. Basta, enough. They are setting the example. They are setting the example of an alternative which is coming into existence. And we must recognize our connection to those folks. We must work in solidarity with those folks. We must cross the borders. We must connect. The human family is not a family that deserves to be bombed and blown to bits and white phosphorus and gassed and lied to. The human family is assembled here today. And may I say, don't let anybody off the hook. Everybody shares in this. Don't let the churches off the hook. Listen to Bill Moyers when he says that Jesus has been hijacked by those who would sacrifice him on the altar of money and power. Go to your church. Go to your synagogue. Go to your place of worship. Go to the places where they should be subscribing to that theory, that just war theory that they use each and every time when it's time to support power. In this instant, not one single condition of that theory has been fulfilled. It's unjust, it's immoral, it's in violation of international law, national law, and it's up to us to put an end, not just to the war, but to the addiction to violence and to the complicity that is induced in us almost from the cradle. Disobedience may now be the virtue to be enjoyed. And please don't forget, in this coming week, on the 23rd of March, that Hillary Clinton, who sees the solution to our problem as sending 90,000 more troops to Iraq, who sees no value in nonviolence or no existence, Hillary Clinton will be coming here, and the students at Stony Brook want you to be there at 11 o'clock on the 23rd to participate in a die-in. Let Hillary see what it looks like for bodies to be spread all over the sidewalks of Stony Brook University. I could go on and on, but there are other folks here today. One is civil disobedient, and others who have very important messages to deliver to you today. So let me just ask you to postpone our further conversation until Thursday between 12 and 2. And I want to thank all of those people who have put together this wonderful thing. And finally, to the letter writers of the Three Village Herald and the Three Village Times who say that the group is small and insignificant, I hope they're driving by today. Thank you all.
Okay, we've got two speakers from the Stony Brook Social Justice Alliance. Here we go, Chad, Charlene. Let's give them a good welcome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Charlene. I'm from the Social Justice Alliance. And I just want to say that when I was driving by in the car before, and I just saw the people lined up already, and I saw the big crowd of people, I was very inspired. And I'm inspired each time I see a crowd of people like this. And I'm inspired as a student and as an activist. And I think that the most important thing here is that when I look around and I see high school students, and I see Carrie over there, and she's in kindergarten, and I see people older than my parents and people older than my grandparents.
Is that all?
I think it's something very inspiring that we're all standing here today, and we're standing here asking for the same thing, and that is to bring the troops home, and that is that we're asking for peace and for justice. And when Bill McNulty was speaking before about justice in all forms, I also want to point out to you that there are a lot of other injustices that we should be fighting for, and that this right here, this march, I think is just a beginning of something that we all can now take part in, now that we have each other. And I think that now, after today, after meeting everyone on Long Island, after meeting everyone who is committed to the same things that we are committed to, it can bring us new inspiration in all of the causes that we are fighting for. And there are some other things that I just really want to point out to you today. Social Justice Alliance has been organizing for 4 years. We've been organizing anti-war events, justice events, events on globalization, and I think that the more people that we have in this event next Thursday, it's going to be more powerful, and it's going to put more of a message and show more solidarity between all of our causes. And Hillary Clinton will be here, and that's at 11:30 next Thursday. And for people who want information on that, please come to us, because we have some flyers available. Also, something that we're working on is having petitions. And we're getting petitions to Hillary Clinton and to Schumer and to Bishop, for those who live in the district. For those people who are interested to sign, we also have those today. And I think that at this point, I'm just going to hand the mic over to Chad, wherever he is. Oh, okay, sorry. Thank you very much.
She said everything I was going to say, so I'm not sure what to add. I can say that I'm very sick today, and I thought about that when I was walking down, about how appropriate that is, because I think our country is very sick at this moment, and that we need to do everything we can, in so many ways, to make it healthy. And I have to, just to reiterate what Charlene said, so many of the students, including myself, look to the community for inspiration. So many of the things that you do on a weekly basis, every vigil, every march, every meeting, every flyer we see, we get inspiration from that. Many people think that the students are the future. Well, the students are nothing without you. We get everything from you. And we will do our part, but we need your inspiration. We need your wisdom. We need your advice. We need your help. Students these days have it rough. It may not be the same situation it was in the old days. There was a lot more leisure time back then, I think. Now students are working 2 jobs and they're doing 18 credits. I see people saying, "Oh, how dare you talk about my time being leisurely?" But it's true. Look at the stats. The students are killing themselves and the tuitions are going up and they're just looking out to get by and just get through it.
Hey, they have to pay for the war.
They have to pay for the war and their tuition. And they have to work 2 jobs to do it. It's tough. It's a tough crowd to work. But we're doing it one person at a time and we're having some success. And the reason I'm saying it's tough, and the reason I'm talking about that is because we need that inspiration and we need you. And I'm so glad to see everyone out here. And I'm so glad that we were invited to be a part of this. It means a lot to us. And we really, really want to stress that this petition card campaign that Charlene mentioned, we really need other groups to pick that up so we can have an effect. We're going to gather those and we're going to deliver them in person to the offices of Schumer, Clinton, and Bishop. If you have other people in other districts, we can make petition cards for that district and that representative. And we really need your help in spreading the word about that. So please get in touch with us about that campaign. Also, did you want to...
Tell them to email the list.
Yeah. If you have a flyer for the die-in, for the Clinton die-in, the email address is on the bottom of that sheet. You can do that. I also have a sign-up sheet. If you're interested in trying to attend the Clinton event inside the Stoller Center at Stony Brook University, please sign up. We're going to try to get you a ticket. If you're interested, and that's obviously for other reasons than just listening to Hillary. But we can talk about that later. I can't really talk about that now. But if you're interested in doing the die-in, please sign up for this. Right? We'll send you more information. I have information, I have directions, right? So if you need help in getting there and getting to the die-in, you don't know what to do but you want to be a part of it, please sign up, please talk to us, please take a flyer. Lastly, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody, each person here. I really appreciate you coming out, not for me, but what we're all fighting for, which is to end this frickin' occupation and to bring the troops home. And I really can't stress enough how much Hillary Clinton is a part of this, right?
Yeah.
Hillary is the hawk. She's in the Democratic Party and she's trying to pull it, or she's not even trying to pull the party. She's just looking out for her own position right now, and she's pulling that party way to the Republican side, way past the Republican side. And so we have to target her. We have to weaken her. We have to change her. Because she's all we got right now.
That's right.
So we have to do everything we can to make that change.
She knows she's wrong.
I'm telling you, she's not doing what we got. They elected a Democratic Congress, they impeached both of them, and Nancy Pelosi is president.
I've just been told to remind folks about everyone who's been hurt by this war.
That's right.
Well, yeah,
I think it's a good point. I think we should think
by default.
of every single person, and I don't mean just the soldiers or even those who have been hit by Iraqi and U.S. bombs, but all the schools that are closed, all the businesses that are closed, all the life that is disrupted. Every single person, the relatives of every soldier who's come back wounded,
Right.
Actually, I think
and their friends. The ripple effect is unbelievable in our communities.
That's right.
And we have to reach out to each of those. I'm an instructor at Stony Brook University, and one of my students is a vet. She just got back from a 16-month tour in Iraq, and she is destroyed. You don't know it by looking at her. She just looks like a young girl. She's 19 years old. She looks like any other girl. You don't know she just got out of a hell. And she is destroyed. She doesn't know how to adapt to civilian life anymore. They destroyed her. And she needs our help.
That's right.
There are a lot of vets that need our help. Those folks are hurting, and we need to reach out to them. They don't necessarily fit into one part of this equation. They're just hurting. And so we need to reach out to them. We need their help. They need our help. So with that, I want to thank everyone once again.
North Country Peace Group, we meet here every Saturday morning, as we have since December 2002. We hope you will join us 11 o'clock every Saturday. Support all of these groups. We have some fantastic people represented here. People who have spent not 10 years, not 20 years, not 30 or 40 years, but 50 years or more as peace activists. Learn from them as we learn from our young students. That is really important. Bill.
About 3 o'clock this morning on the internet, I saw that,
It's not working.
that 6 American soldiers were killed in Iraq,
Can you fix it? Can you help
and they
him?
belong to the 101st Airborne Division. 6 soldiers, please. Thank you. What brings me here is leading up to when our government was ratcheting up the attack on Iraq. I sat in my living room and I felt the frustration and I kind of thought that they weren't telling the truth. It was going through my mind, and luckily I found people that are here today that belong to different groups, Suffolk Peace, and we're trying to get organized now, Veterans for Peace, Suffolk County. We have 4 members now, so it's a start. Myself, I spent 1,100 days living with GIs. I was in the 82nd Airborne. 101st Airborne, we always thought that they were an elite group, and they are. The young men, and sometimes children that I spent time with in the service, to a man, came from backgrounds like myself. They came from poverty. I did not remember a rich man when I was in the military. And I met thousands and thousands of guys over those 1,100 days. I did meet children that were 16 years old who were in the military. This is 1960. The children that were so scared that they wet their beds. Developed eating disorders. Developed alcoholism. Developed drug addiction. I say these things because these are the things you are not told when you go down to the military, or when the military comes to you knocking at your door. As a result of the peace groups, we were demonstrating outside a military recruitment center in Patchogue, and we had the mosaic of the dead soldiers, pictures of some of the soldiers. There wasn't enough room for all the soldiers. We had pictures of some of them. And one of the recruiters happened to come out, and I said to him, I asked him, I said, you see that picture there? I pointed to one picture, a picture of a dead soldier. And I said, what would you do if you found out that you recruited him into the military? And his answer was, I would say he was a hero. I want to finish on this note here. I have 5 grandchildren. One of them turned 16 March 28th. 3 days later, she got this in the mail. 16 years old. From the United States Marines. And I still haven't opened it. I've had it for about 5 days now. I don't want to open it. Not yet. My granddaughter, I don't have much of a memory, but I remember her crawling around my kitchen floor not too long ago. She's got wrists on her about that big. And this is what they're asking. They're asking her to go into the United States Marines. They're also telling families that they receive $40,000 if one of the family members enlists in the service. $250,000 you get if you are killed at war. $250,000. Now, when I was in the service, trust me, I knew guys who would volunteer to go over in harm's way if they knew that their mother could receive $250,000. When I was in the service, my mother had 13 children. There was no money, none. I know what it was like, and I'm glad for that because I'm successful now. But I remember the poverty, and that's what they're targeting here. They deny that they're targeting kids. In 1960, when I went down south, the first place they sent me from Fort Dix was to Fort Benning, Georgia. We pulled into Columbus, Georgia. We landed in an airport. And I get out, I say, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I walk over to the bathroom and it says, whites only. And I looked around and I saw the other side, it said coloreds. And then I looked at the water fountain and it said whites only. And when I went in the bathroom, in the whites only bathroom, there was a young African-American boy, about 10, 11 years old, on his knees with a shoe shine thing looking at me. When I went into the barracks in Fort Benning, Georgia in 1960, 30% of the kids that were in that barracks were African American. Now you tell me that they're not targeted. They tell me now that our military tells me now, well, that was 40 years ago. I don't believe them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill. For those who don't know, there are counter-recruiting demonstrations that are going on in our different communities. I know they are having them in Huntington, in Patchogue, Coram. So please support those groups of people who are there weekly or monthly at these places that are recruiting our young people. Someone who has been in the news lately, John Phillips, is our next speaker. John was arrested several months ago at Hillary Clinton's office in Melville. We support him. We support his service. We support all of the people who are putting their lives and their reputations on the line. I would like, at this time, John Phillips to come on up.
Good morning.
Morning.
Might be afternoon by now. It's beautiful to see so many people out here. I did have the opportunity on October 26th, the day most of the major newspapers had the pictures of the 2,000 soldier killed in Iraq. I had the opportunity to express my outrage. We were at a Camp Casey set up in honor of Casey Sheehan at Chuck Schumer's and Hillary Clinton's office on Pine Lawn Road, and the opportunity presented itself. I felt in my heart that an anniversary of such magnitude was something which required that we go one step further to let our elected officials know where we stand on this travesty that they are perpetuating upon the American people, and especially on our military and the people of Iraq. And so it afforded a unique opportunity for me to stand up and underline our displeasure with the actions of our elected leaders. And I'm very proud to have done that, and I'm very proud to be associated with the people who let me be in a position where I felt I could best serve by doing that, and that was the Pax Christi and all of the people that were responsible for setting up the Camp Casey. One of the things that is outstanding now about what took place is that it afforded me the opportunity to draw a line where I felt that the sentiments of the people of Long Island and the people of the state of New York were, and to call attention to that to Senator Clinton. But in my heart, I see now, and I really feel and believe that the agenda of Senator Clinton, and indeed our other elected official, has nothing to do with our agenda.
That's right.
of peace, and they are, if you will, they are counting to the beat of a different drum, and they don't seem to have the welfare of the people of this state, or in fact the United States, in their best interest. What they really have is their agenda. And they give window dressing and talk to our demands, and when we raise our hands in peaceful protest of issues which are being thrust upon us, which we find intolerable, they give it lip service. And I notice that our local politicians absolutely don't even regard the fact that we are at war. They seem to busy themselves with local issues. You wouldn't even think that they were members of the same political parties that these representatives of ours in Washington, you wouldn't think that they were in the same party. Yet I know that they are either, most of them, Democrats or Republicans. And I think that a special occasion like this, where we're standing here together on a beautiful Saturday morning, it will bring out to our local politicians that indeed, where are you on this issue? And why are you sidetracking our attention to issues like immigration, which is an easy issue to attack because it gets people thinking about something else that's a threat. They did that with the gay rights movement. They did it with many movements, and they are especially adept at sleight of hand. And I think what we should do is keep in the forefront the fact that they are not responding to our demands and to our constitutional rights. And I think we should bring that out to our local representatives. I, for one, am proud to have done what I did in that case, and proud to have the opportunity, and certainly am so proud to be with you people who are the best people, in the matter of social justice and change. I am so proud to be here that you can't believe. I don't believe I've ever been in a better place in my life, and I thank you very much. I'm going to sing a song to you in a little bit, if you don't mind, and after we read the names of the military personnel who have perished from Long Island.
Petty Officer Nathan B. Bruckenthal, age 24. Robert W. DeFazio, age 21. Sergeant Michael J. Esposito, age 22. Private First Class Jacob S. Fletcher, age 28.
Staff Sergeant Scott N. Gurmason, age 37. Raheem Tyson Hyder, age 22. Kevin T. Combe, age 23.
Lance Corporal Jared Karam, age 24. First Lieutenant Matthew D. Lynch, age 25. Lance Corporal Ramon Mateo, age 20.
Lieutenant Michael P. Murphy, age 29. Specialist Robert C. Pope, age 22. Specialist Jose L. Ruiz, age 28.
Private First Class Wilfredo F. Urbina, age 29. SPC Thomas J. Wilworth, age 21. Lance S. Sage, age 26.
Thank you. Thank you.
like to play a song I wrote at about the beginning of the Iraqi war. It was written out of the disbelief in the situation that was going on. Is this a dream? It seems like more and more. Is this a dream? Have I been through this before? Am I a traveler? A traveler of time? Is this a dream? Is this a dream? Is this a dream? A dream. Go ahead. A dream. It seems like more and more is a dream.
We thank you all. Go back to your homes, go back to your communities. Continue all the good work that you are doing. We say no to this war. We say bring the troops home now. Thank you all. From all the groups here today, we thank you, North Country Peace Group. Every Saturday morning, 11 o'clock, right here. Thank you to all the people here who made this possible. Susan and Charles and Jean, our filmmaker, and Bob and Ann and Bill and Paul and Marianne, and I know and Stu and Claudia. Who else is out there? Thank you all. I know you know who you are. We thank you all for coming. Go back.